the HR reps that are really bad at their jobs are going to struggle even more, and the HR that are good at their jobs are going to get even more burnt out. And it's just going to like erode being able to hire, recruit, and retain talent. And you have managers that refuse to buckle on remote work. And you have people that won't go back in the office for many, many valid reasons and a couple of invalid reasons. Again, like I've said, a lot of people that won't go back in the office, I think they're being disingenuous. I think they moved away for largely selfish reasons, convenient lifestyle reasons, and either because they can't or they won't, they just won't move back. Move back. So they live in Florida now, or they live on the coast now, or they live, whatever their version of paradise is, and they don't want to move back. And I feel like this is just a repeat of like 2020 all over again, because everybody realized they didn't have to work in 2020, so they could just jag off and do whatever they wanted. And then that transitioned to, well, now I can just live wherever I want and do whatever I want. And this counterculture is just like, has put their foot down, and they're just going to draw down unemployment, and then they're going to draw down food cards, and they're just going to draw down Social Security. And it's not that they're in dire straits through other people's design. They've done this to themselves. And what they don't understand, or they don't appreciate, is that social services are going to buckle, and they're going to have to do something. And we're going to see this in less than 2 weeks, probably, with the fiscal cliff shutdown default hoodle-doo, where they are going to crack down. I don't care if they're R or a D or green, blue, purple. Both sides are going to be cracking down on unemployment, because a good majority of unemployed people are not looking for work at all. Period. They're just not. Or if they are, they're like, oh, well, there's no telework jobs today. Oh my gosh, like, when I lost the house, if I had lost the house in this situation, I would be a billion times better off, because first of all, I would have had the big cheese deferring my house payments this whole time. That would have been freaking great. And then I would have had telework to look forward to. And that started 9 years ago. God, I can't believe it's already been that long. Holy shit. 2015 is when the last crash started, and it was the worst 3 or 4 years of my life. Not that this last 5 years has been much better, but these shitters, and they're not just like Gen millennial, whatever they're called, past millennials now. It's not them, it's everybody. It's like every single generation, bits and pieces and varying sized chunks of every generation, just got like ludicrously entitled in 2020. Again, some of them, maybe the dad wanted to stay home and watch the kids, maybe the mom did, maybe they saw how bad things were getting. That's great, more power to you. Like, a lot of them though, they just wanted to sit on their ass at the beach and just not work. And you don't get to do that unless you schmoozed your way in your 20s and 30s and got a sugar daddy and did your exercises, and you can like crank kids out to like some rich person, like some rich guy. Like you can't, or you did really good in .com, or you did really good in the crypto, which again is like 0.01% of the population. So unless you're one of them, like, I'm sorry, you've got to get your ass to work somehow. And Social Security disability is not going to cut it, because when the shutdown happens, and it will, those checks aren't going to be coming, and it's going to be solvent, and the systems can't run forever. And there's some channels that I really respect that say like, it'll be fine because the money's guaranteed. And that's true, the money is guaranteed, but the systems don't run by themselves. That's the problem. I'm not saying to vote based on fear or whatever. I'm saying you gotta be prepared. And anyone listening to this is probably fine. Like, the people who specifically deliberately aren't preparing and think that they can vote their way out of this have mindset problems that can't be repaired unless the people want to see the world differently. So we've got a real pickle here, and I don't see a way out of this that doesn't involve bringing in tons and tons and tons of H-1Bs and tons and tons and tons and tons of our southern friends, and we're just gonna turn into another France where nobody wants to work, and we're gonna end up almost exclusively like a migrant country because our culture is not reproducing hardly at all. And I think there's a perfectly reasonable biological explanation for that, which is we can sense that things are bad, and so we don't have kids a lot of times. And so that's also why if you have somebody that is complementary to your culture and they decide to have kids, that I think you should help them, because that's all that's going to be left of like the last vestiges of our culture in 2 generations is, yeah, it's really sad and it's really bleak, but it's true, because there's nothing that can get me to go back in the office, and it's just flat out dangerous. That being said, you might say, oh, you're a giant hypocrite. I live close enough to the office to go back in. And thank goodness I did, because that's probably the only reason I still have a job, is because I saw the writing on the wall and I didn't go all in. These people that are just like, fake it till you make it, damn the consequences, this will work out somehow. And I tell you what, based on my LinkedIn, it's not working out for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are getting laid off every day. My feed every day is just full of people getting laid off. And a couple people getting hired, and a couple people hiring, but it's almost overwhelmingly people getting laid off. And I think that the news is dramatically underplaying how bad the layoffs are. But they won't be able to ignore it soon, because all of those people, if they didn't get severance, are all going to be applying for unemployment at the same time, and the numbers are just going to keep spiking, and there isn't going to be anywhere for any of them to work. We're not innovating or doing anything anymore in our country that can re-employ people, even if they did want to work, which most of them don't. They're gonna just keep moving, and they're gonna keep reconsolidating, and they're going to keep leeching off the last people who, either intentionally or on purpose, because they had the foresight, or maybe it was an accident, managed to get recession-proof jobs. And I'm starting to realize more and more and more that I don't have any idea what a recession-proof job is anymore, and that I don't think looking at what were recession-proof jobs last time is as valid as I thought it was, because AI is knocking out a lot of jobs, and being an AI developer, for all intents and purposes, seems impossible, because unless you know somebody, I can't find any way of being an AI developer that is not shoving you under essentially what's a giant MLM scheme, where you've got to be a part of their cloud and a part of their ecosystem, and you got to buy in. And I'm not saying AI is invalid, but like, a couple people got in, and AI is the new crypto, and AI is the new .com, crypto slash blockchain. You know, I just like, I feel like I can stay ahead of it because of all the theory crafting and like think tank stuff that I do, and I talk to a lot of really smart people, and we all bunk our heads together, and I feel like we can stay ahead of it. But I talked to somebody about this today, and that's essentially what I encouraged them to do too. Like, everybody in their industry right now should be trying to band together with every other smart person they can find in their industry, and they need to all be sharing all their notes and not gatekeeping anything, because I don't think any one person can find this solution, and I have a feeling that the solutions, I don't think any one person has any one solution